This is where we hold them. This is where we fight.
You are now listening to Sweep the Rack podcast featuring Brooklyn Rob and Big Mike.
Rob, what's good, homie?
Mike, I could listen to that beat and that intro, man. I should just, man, I'm like sitting here like, yo, I'm ready to like go to the gym.
I'll write a hot 16 to that beat. All right. Test me.
Yo, so let me ask you, right? I've been thinking about this, not a lot, but just sometimes, right? So I listen to a lot of like motivation type like videos and listen to a lot of stuff on YouTube. Just stuff to like kind of get me going, maybe to go to the gym, to go to work, try to like think positive. I don't know, these like they're like cheesy motivation, like Motive University, it's called on YouTube. You could check them out. It's really good. Just changes your mindset to positivity. If you're really feeling down, it gets you motivated to accomplish your goals. So
I prefer to be negative, but carry on.
You forget, right? But in like your own personal like life. So let me ask you something. I'm 40 years old, okay? And one of my dreams and goals as a kid, a younger kid growing up, and you know this, was to be a full-time professional touring player, okay? Back when I was 16, 17, 18, when I was in college, even as a younger adult in my early 20s, right?
You and many others.
Me and many others, right? And I never really succeeded due to me just, dealing with a lot of anxiety issues, a lot of lack of practice, more practice than I needed to really probably focus more. Had
some health issues in there too, I think.
Had some help, but it didn't really bring me that. But if I really wanted to do it at that age when I was younger, I probably could have. Now, if I could have been successful at it, whole nother story, right? But let me ask you, as a 40-year-old right now, if I decided to, I don't know, not really quit my job, but focus full-time on preparing to bowl on the national level, right? To go on tour, to go bowl the majors, to go bowl the tournaments. And I really dedicated myself. Could I succeed as a 40-year-old right now in this like field of 20 to 25-year-old two-hander international world traveler players?
What's success?
Like top 10 in the world.
No.
And why would you think that? Just curious, because I agree with you.
I think the odds are too highly stacked against you. I think if that's how you're defining success. Now,
top 10.
if you
that's the only way to be successful, because that's probably the only way you're really going to pay full time out there is if you're a top 10 player. I mean, would you agree with that?
Yeah, I don't know. In general, I'll be honest, I wouldn't agree with your standard of what success is, especially out on the PBA tour right now. And here's why. Because there's a lot of guys that I would describe as successful or who have had runs of success on the PBA tour, who have other jobs, other businesses, etc. And they may not even be bowling out there anymore. They may still be bowling out there and not be bowling very well, not be competitive anymore, whatever it is. But I think your definition of success is actually like the highest level of success that you could talk about.
Okay, so some comments coming in. Placo, man, happy holidays, brother. Always great when I see you. As good as you were, look, I'm not going to argue with that, right? Unfortunately, would not be worth it. You'd have to make 6 figures to cover all costs and bills. We got a new person here, Kyle Nashert, who actually is a coworker of mine. Mike.
Welcome, Kyle.
Brooklyn Rob, you are my hero, Kyle, man. My guy, his shirt game is fire, by the way. Hell yeah, you can succeed. Big Mike, you're wrong, man. Brooklyn Rob can do whatever he wants to do to put his mind. Love you guys. I love it.
No, listen, Kyle, no disrespect to my guy. I mean, Rob's my guy. Like, no disrespect to my dude, but like, we're talking bowling here, Kyle. So we're in another realm, and this is a realm that Rob and I know and understand real well. So, with that said, I'm aware of the realities that come along with what Rob's saying. But again, back to my point. Somebody asked in the chat, could you win a show? Yeah, Rob could win a show. Hell yeah, he could win a PBA title. Now, what set of circumstances would it take for that to happen? I think it would take, like, you're lined up well, the center that you're bowling in loves the way your ball goes through the pins, etc. A break or two here or there. Yeah, you could find yourself there. Jimmy, my man, Jimmy. We're going to talk about Jimmy in a few. It says, can Rob make a show or two? Yes, Rob can make a show or two. Now, would we define that as success? I would define that as success. I would certainly define that as success. I mean, if you went and won a PBA title, Rob, if you won a PBA regional title, I would define that as success, to be honest with you.
Yeah, but I guess success to me would be more of me being able to fully support myself on tour every year.
But you just said when you started that out, like, not saying that I would quit my job or anything. Now, if you're saying to me, Mike, I'm 40, I'm going to quit my job tomorrow and go compete on the PBA tour, what's success? Then yeah, you better be able to pay your bills and live and do the. But Rob, here's the reality. There's only, like you said, there's only 10, maybe 10 guys out there that are able to do that just from bowling. So I don't know, to have that high a standard of what success would be. I don't know.
Yeah, and that's the thing is too. Like, look, I'm not quitting my job tomorrow, obviously, but it just gets you thinking. Like, if you, as a 40-year-old, wanted to, let's just say, if I wanted to come out of retirement, and I think the big thing that we don't talk about here is, and I don't want to get too much into it because me and you could probably talk about this for fucking hours, honestly.
Oh my God. Can I tell you, he didn't even tell me he was going to start the episode out like this. I mean, he hits me with this, like, deep philosophical,
but
life
it's a good
question,
topic, right?
And I'm somebody that likes to dig deep into things anyway, so we may be here a little bit. Go ahead.
So here's my thing is, I think we don't talk about enough is the physical aspect of the games. Okay, now I go to the gym a lot. I do watch what I eat most of the time, but like, dude, back, knee, right? Like, when you haven't been bowling for years, I mean, talking games, right? Like, years I haven't really put in like 50 or 100 games a week. And then all of a sudden I decided that I wanted to bowl and really practice 3-4 hours a day, bowl on the weekends. I don't think physically I could hold up right now, because bowling shape is completely different than gym shape, right? Like, because you're torquing your back, you're torquing your knees. Like, I physically don't have confidence in my body being able to handle as many games as these guys do. It's amazing guys like Norm Duke and like, Walter Ray are still bowling as many games they do at the age they are. But I feel like that's just a built up from just never stopping and bowling since you're in your 20s.
See, that's
right?
the thing. If you go from not doing it at all to doing it at that level, clearly it's going to be a struggle. But if you build up to it and you kind of set that pace and set that tone, then I don't think the struggle would be as great.
I don't know, Gary, dude. First off, I love the I love the emoji. Gary West, what couldn't you guys talk about for hours? Honestly, that's probably pretty true. Our conversations are pretty long. It could be about anything.
I could name a few things, Gary. I'm not going to get into it though.
Yeah.
Here's what I think about that, Rob. I want to throw this thought out there. I think that whether you would be successful or not would have a lot to do with who is guiding you through the technical bowling side of what you need to accomplish out there, right? And I know that's a very, like, carefully worded statement, and I'll be more specific about what I mean. Like, I think if Rob got hooked up with the right ball rep, the right coach, who really has the knowledge to unlock things for you out there and give you the right information about, no, here's what you need to do. Here's what you need to work on. This is the move you need to make. This is the ball you need to be using. If Rob only had to worry about throwing the ball and had somebody else making most of the right moves for him, then I think your chances would go up significantly. Now, if it's just you out there and it's just you preparing to go out there, no insult to your level of bowling knowledge. It's very high, obviously, but how that translates to out there and what goes on out there is somewhat different.
Yeah, and this is obviously I appreciate all the good comments about my bowling game or what it used to be, whatever. I think John Stevenson hit the nail on the head. Because look, you have three aspects of your game. You have a physical game, you have the mental game, and you have the technology and the equipment side of the game, right? To me, it's if I'm giving lessons or I'm trying to guide someone, those are the 3 points of a triangle for a successful professional career, right? I wish, and if I had to go back as a 16-year-old or 18-year-old or even 21-year-old, and I could talk to myself, I would really wish I would have focused more on my mental game than any of the other parts of it, because I feel like my physical game was there, which a lot of people have the physical game, right? You could go to league and see some people have actually pretty good physical games. But the mental game and the technical side of the game is like, to me, it's like now 70 to 80% of the success of the people who are successful out there have amazing mental games, and they know their ball motions, and they know their equipment, and they know their adjustments. But my mental game was always, and I just always dealt with really high anxiety, and I never really admitted that until I was in my 30s, and then realized how bad it was. And I really wish I could have went back and reset and really learned how to control my anxiety and my just nervousness bowling in general. So.
Yeah, I got to be honest with you. I disagree a lot with that last part of your take there. Like, we've talked about this previously, guys like Bill Fagan, and we knew how they threw it previously to going out on tour, and then they went out on tour and they really had to remake their games, and then over time, guys have had to remake their games after remaking their game, right? And that's where I think people like us would struggle. Okay, we throw it good for the environment we're in, but throwing it good out there is something completely different. Now, again, given the right set of circumstances, if you have access to a center where you could put out PBA patterns every day and go and get a true look,
100%.
you know what I'm saying? Like, again, your chances for success go up exponentially if you can get that kind of access and things, and you have those things at your disposal. But without that, it's kind of tough. Jimmy, always with the insight here. He says the big question is when was your sliding door moment? When could you have made the decision to bowl full time? I mean, I think Rob just kind of talked about it, like in that. I
could have made the decision anytime I wanted to, but I didn't have the balls to do it. Honestly, I could make the decision right now, Mike. I could. I could do it. I could quit my job.
You're right. You're single. You don't.
Mike, I could quit my job tomorrow. I could move back home with my mom, and I could go and do whatever the hell I wanted to do. Right? Like,
is that why we're bringing this up? You thinking about making the run?
Dude, come on. You think I'd be stupid to leave the great company and great job I work for now?
He almost said how much he makes. He almost said it.
No. I'm just saying, like, I'd be stupid. It would be a bad financial decision for me. If the PBA was paying golf money, I'd have been living with my mom years ago, right? Bowling,
in this environment right now with COVID and working from home and all that, I mean, if I were somebody like you and you had an interest in that, I think it's easier than ever to try and do that. You can work it out with your job and say, all right, listen, like, I'm going to be doing this, but I'll be also working or whatever.
Yeah, so, people are getting nervous that I'm leaving. Don't worry, man. I'm not. It's just a topic to talk about because I think about it.
I love that Rob stacks the chat with his coworkers. I love
it. Anyway, okay, we can get into talking for this for hours, but
sliding door moment for me to answer Jimmy's question, probably like right when I graduated college, probably within weeks of me graduating college. Like, I had to make a decision of, am I going to pursue a job in the profession that I got a degree in, or am I going to, kind of kind of hang around a little bit, hang in the pro shop, hang in the bowling alley, bowl a bunch of leagues, see what's going on with bowling, figure things out over the next year or two. And I just got to say, I was under a lot of pressure to get a job and make that happen.
Fun.
So,
Yeah,
all right, Rob, we're gonna
Mike,
move on. We're gonna move on
because we could talk hours. So
we could.
Okay, let's talk league. Let's
Oh,
talk
my
league
God.
review real quick. How'd you bowl league, Mike? Last
So,
night. Is your league.
I want to. Before I talk about league, 5-10. All right, 5-10. Okay, but there's more to it. There's more to it than that.
Okay.
Let me follow up. First of all, I want to complain about something before I even talk about my league. And the thing I'm going to complain about is directly related to what we just talked about, right? Oh, yes, that's right. Happy birthday, Rob.
It's not my birthday.
Oh,
it's
okay.
All right. It's my birthday every day at my company. They wish me happy birthday every day.
That's right. I did the same thing last week. I feel like it's Groundhog Day. Yeah, it's too much. All
right. You can talk to your league.
I'm going to complain about the fact that, when you bowl on sport conditions and you struggle, there's really no way to solve the struggles that you're having other than to go out the next week in league and try something different and struggle again, and try something different and struggle again until perhaps you find the right combination, right? The place where I bowl league, they won't put the patterns out consistently for us, because there's open bowling and it's not that big of a center, et cetera. Nob Hill, where I had it set up with the manager that we both know, that's kind of fell apart on me. I don't even know why. I asked her last week, like, how come it's so hard for me to get a pair to come in at 7 o'clock and bowl? It's like, oh, well, you can come after the league is done, but it's 9:30 at night on a Friday after I worked all day. Like, I'm not. And then, Rob, last Friday I go to bowl. Okay, I go to practice. I wait till this junior league gets done, the bowl on the sport lanes. The junior league gets done, and 10 minutes after they're done, she shuts out all the lights for cosmic bowling. So I went up to the desk and I was like, listen, no disrespect, but like, I don't come here to bowl cosmic bowling, whether it's on this or that or whatever. My point is this: it's so hard to find opportunities to practice on these conditions.
It's impossible.
And get better. It's so hard, man.
It is.
It's ridiculous. It's to a point where we're never going to be able to grow this side of the game if we can't provide regular opportunities for people to come in and get some practice on sport patterns. So,
well, Mike,
with that said,
here's the problem.
I threw it pretty good last night. I felt like not the first game. First game I threw it bad. I had quite a few splits. Second and third game I actually threw it good. But Rob, I did something last night. I can't even believe I'm going to say this. Since I did this last night, I've been debating whether I was even going to say this on the podcast, because
this is going to be.
I'm like you. I mean, oh my God, I can't even believe it.
What, did you miss a 5-pin?
Oh my God, it's so much worse than that. It's so much. Oh my God, it's so much.
Gutter?
I double guttered. I double guttered in the 10th on a double.
Were you playing outside of 5? Were you playing first arrow?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, it was the short pattern. Yeah, it was the short pattern. I mean, I was throwing it to the gutter too.
Yo, okay. First off, okay. Look, like
I double
terrible.
guttered on a double in the 10th. I mean, are you? I want to use several curse words right now. I'm not going to, because I'm a public figure to some degree. But my goodness, gracious,
dude, you're like a hero in the township of New Jersey for putting that guy on blast at the Board of Education. So you are kind of a local legend and hero to me, Mike.
We'll get into that.
But let me tell you something on your point, though, about people not being able to practice to get better on sports shots. Mike, it's practically impossible these days. If you are out there and you have a bowling center in your area that consistently will put out sports shots for you to go practice, or bowling tournaments every weekend where you could sharpen your tools to be a better bowler on sport patterns, you are a lucky person, because there are so many. And Mike, we all know I've moved around a lot. Okay. It is rare these days for you to be able to have a bowling center close to you that gives you either free or affordable practice. And affordable practice, I mean something less to me than $3 a game is affordable.
I don't even care about that. I'll pay $6 a game, $7 a game, just to be able to get the opportunity.
Yo,
happy holidays,
Sean Rash, man. Our guy, dude. That's
safe travels. Doing a lot of big things out there. I see. Love the clinic.
I saw Belmo commented on Rash's Arsenal asking where his trend 2 was. So just wondering, Rash, if you're still in the comments, man. Why haven't you drilled up a trend 2, man? What's the deal? But anyway, on your point though, bowling definitely needs an outlet. And I mean by an outlet for guys like you, right? Who want to get better bowling on the tougher stuff. How to do that, where to go do that, right? There isn't that outlet anywhere. Like if I wanted to practice right now, Mike, when we talked at the beginning of the show, if I wanted to go be a professional and I wanted to do it full time, where would I be able to do that, Mike? I would have to go like to the performance center here in Tempe that Mike Calderon owns. And I would have to literally like go there and practice, and he puts out stuff on the weekends. But Mike, that's going to cost me it'll probably cost me a lot of money to bowl for an hour on that. I mean money wise, like maybe like even $45, $60 an hour probably for me to bowl an hour on a sports shot. So like, I mean, it's a tough grind.
Why?
Man. It's not a lot.
Why so much cost?
Because these people, they have to make money. Their businesses. I mean, they don't have probably a lot of people coming in to do it. So when you do come in and do it, they probably have to get their money out of it. No, I mean, they're not going to charge me $15.
To me, like local bowling center around me, if I'm a bowler, local bowler, and I call up and I say, all right, I'd like to come in and reserve a pair to practice on, and I'd like this particular condition on it if you can put that out. And they say, okay, yes, we can put that condition out for you. Except now, this is just my viewpoint of it. I could be wrong here. I admit that. I just don't see a lot of extra cost for the bowling center in that. They already have the mechanic there working.
It's usually
he's likely already doing the lanes.
Miserable.
Rob, you want to know why I think I can't get the pair done at Nob Hill? Because I think the mechanic is so lazy that he 100%. Won't even do one extra pair because he knows it's just for one person.
Yeah.
It's like, why do I have to put them in? I mean, is this where we're at in the bowling community?
100%.
Because if that's where we're at, then pack it in. Because
you'll be the only person bowling on that too, and it's a lot for them to sit there. They have to shut the machine down. They have to like put the program in. Like,
no, it's already out. It's already out. They're already doing it. That's my point, right? And okay, so Rob, let me ask you this: even if that's true, even if what you're saying is true, then what should be the upfront cost, right? Not lineage related, okay? On top of lineage. What should be the upfront cost for a bowler, a regular bowler like me or you, to be able to call a center and get a pattern out? What should we pay? Like, what should the fee be for that?
If you bowl league there, it should be something reasonable.
Like what? Give me a number.
Like if
$20.
Okay, no, if it's whatever the per game is that you're getting charged. Let's just say it's $3 a game. I think fair would be like an extra like $2, like $5 a game.
That's it?
Yeah.
That's all you're talking about?
Yeah.
I mean, my goodness. Oh my God.
Dude,
an extra $2 a game?
Dude, that adds up. That's like an extra like 40% on their bottom dollar, Mike.
Yeah, I understand. But
if you have multiple
to me, that's so
coming.
simple. Then charge me the $2 a game and put the pattern out for me.
I'm just saying, but like if they advertised that and they told the bowlers and they said, look, like if you want to come practice on the league, practice on a sports shot, we're putting it out. It'll cost you guys, $5 a game. I guarantee you more people would come out and do it and practice on it for $5 a game. And then, dude, they have a pair that they're making almost 50% profit on every game, that they wouldn't be making prior, right? Because now you're charging $5 a game or even double $6 a game, right? Guys like you and probably, I would imagine, a lot more people in your sport league would probably pay the $6 a game to go bowl. I would hope so, but they would have to advertise it and market it the right way. I mean, pot games, action, I don't know. You've tried it and people aren't still coming out. So it has to be the right time. It has to be the right place. And it has to be like the right amount of money for people to do it, or else people rather spend the time in their homes with their families, it seems like, or whatever. I don't know.
True. We have some comments in the chat on this. Sean Koo says $20 to set up the pair. All right, to me that's more than reasonable.
That's fair.
Larry Speecher says I would charge $25 per lane extra. All right, so $50 for a pair. Again, that's not bad. Assume you're going to practice with one other person. You're splitting the cost. You're each paying $25 to get the pattern out. Not bad. Matt Wozni, nice to see you over the weekend, Matt. I'm going to talk about the event in a minute here. Matt Wozni, 4 games for $12 we do in Dover Thursday nights. Gary West says Bolero is ruining ruining any potential to have what you're describing. They'd love to have disco bowling all day if they could. I got to be honest, Gary. I disagree with that to some level currently. I think that's the way they thought about it when they first bought these bowling centers. I think they've kind of changed their approach since then, where they do want the leagues and some of the competitive bowling stuff. But when it comes to catering to the serious bowler, I think Rob is right. Unless there's a serious bottom line in it for them, it's probably not something that they have much interest in doing.
Dude, I just bought stock, so man, keep raising those rates, baby. Let's get the stock price up.
Matt Wozni comment again. Participation has dropped for sports shots lately at my center. Okay, Rob, I talked about league. It was terrible. I can't believe.
Okay,
I can't believe I came on the podcast and said what I did. It's like ridiculous.
It's all right. You double guttered, man. Hey,
if that's not my low, well, you know what? You're right. Like I thought about it driving home last night, and I was like, you know what, Mike? You watch a shit ton of bowling, and like you've seen tournaments where pro bowlers throw gutters on the regular. So like if those guys do it, whatever. I mean, and I was also playing them, kind of in an extreme way.
I mean, everybody is guttered once.
I took some shots from my league last night. I didn't get a chance to edit them for the show tonight, but
did you get the double gutter?
I didn't. Of course I didn't. It was because it was the last frame of the night. My teammates had already finished and they're walking away, packing up, and they didn't tape me. I didn't have my tripod. I was just having my teammate.
Oh my God. Come on, man. Come on.
All right. Next, I'll try and start setting the tripod up.
No, I just wanted to see the double gutter, man.
I know, but I didn't know I was going to do that.
Jimmy from the Ring and 10 would have had a fucking field day with your double gutter.
Oh my God.
I would have texted him and be like, yo, we got to find out. We got to do something with this. Anyway, all right. So you bowled a tournament Saturday.
Greg Tack, Grinch Classic, Lodi Lanes.
It's the Grinch Classic.
It's the Grinch Classic.
No one was happy, huh?
It's always around the holidays, and he makes them extra hard. Okay?
Extra hard.
And no one, well, Joe Pelusic was happy because he won. So he was happy, but no one else was really happy. Oh, my God.
Pelusic can grind, bro. Pelusic can grind on that tough shot.
Every time I walked over to see how he was bowling, it was like 9 spare, 9 spare, 9 spare, 8 spare, 7 spare, split made, strike, 9 spare, strike. Like those were his games, like every game. I was like, bro. My God.
He's a grinder.
So
how'd you bowl?
Oh, horrendously. I missed about 200 pins worth of easy spares, makeable spares. Threw the ball like an idiot for 3 games.
At least you know you got to work on.
And then bowled okay, like the last 4 games or so. I kind of was throwing it better and figured them out. Didn't have the best run of breaks or luck, but threw it okay. By the end of the day, I was like, okay, I feel like I'm throwing it pretty good. So really tough. Greg Tack gets on the mic, Rob, and he announces reverse block. Okay.
Yeah, but you don't hear that term anymore.
You don't. Now, Rob, when you hear reverse block, what do you think?
Dry middles, outside fucking floods.
Okay. So I think the same thing, right? Lanes come on for practice, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to take this UFO alert that kind of scoots through the front, all right? And I'm gonna try that in the middle and see if that, just benchmark, right?
Ew.
Benchmark.
Sounds terrible.
I throw it, and the ball picks 3.
Yeah.
Okay. So I go to something else.
Sure.
Same thing happens.
Okay.
Same thing. I'm like, what? Rob, it was a reverse block with no hook in the middle.
So everything just picked 3 off the right?
Rob, if you got it to 10, listen, Matt Wozny's in the chat right now. He was there, and he's a regional player, all right? He watches a lot of bowling as well. Matt, if anything I say is incorrect, let me know in the chat.
3 off the right, Jeff.
Here's how I felt. If you got the ball outside of 10, it was going to be pick 3 off the right. If you got it outside of 7, it was going in the gutter.
So you're playing fallbacks from like 15
and then,
or 20 probably, right?
Fallback. Yo, Rob, there was so much volume in the middle for the first 3 games, you couldn't play fallback. You couldn't do it. There was too much volume.
500 grit, just throwing it 2 miles an hour.
You had to get to like maybe 13 and
Fade
just
backs.
jam it and just jam it right for the first few games. I didn't do that.
Shit.
I tried to play fallback. I tried to play fallback for the first 2 games and struggled my ass off. Okay, so no, Dave, 500 surface, fresh 500 surface is what I was using from the start. Okay. Didn't jam it in there. Fallback, couldn't do it. Then the fallback developed when a little bit of dry developed to the right there, and you could fall back a little bit. You could even get on some pairs. You could get the ball to tip and kind of hit the pins a little bit better with a little bit of angle. But man, were they tough! Oh my God, Pelusic was the only person who uses his thumb.
All right, Anthony.
Who was plus for the tournament, and Cash was well minus. I mean, well minus.
I love those. That reminds me of like the old like Brooklyn shots where they don't strip, and then you had to literally stand on 10 and just grab the bejesus out of it.
Yo, there was someone on my pair. Shout to Darian LeMay, who I know from back in J.
I know Darian LeMay,
that, May, right? He was 100%. On my pair. Rob, I swear to God, I said that exact same thing to him. I said, "Yo, this reminds me of like Saturday morning,
Hodges.
North Jersey JBT." They just had open bowling all night, Friday night, haven't stripped the lanes in a week, and they oiled the heads before we came in today. That's what it was like.
Mike,
and you just have to get on top of it and just absolutely gnaw at it and get it going left.
Dude, it sounds like I would have loved bowling on that. That's my fucking age.
So shout to Greg Tack. He runs great events. I say it all the time. He raffled off 2 balls. It was a great event, well run. The lanes were extremely tough. I loved it. I had a great time. His next event is at Bristol Pike Lanes. Jeff, have a great holiday, Jeff. Man. Thanks, Jeff. Thanks for the rosin bags again. Go bowl a Greg Tack event if you're in the area. Next one's at Bristol Pike Lanes. So, didn't cash at this one. Maybe the next one. Had a good time. Went to Rutt's Hut afterwards. Very famous hot dog place in North Jersey, if anybody's familiar with it. Excellent hot dogs. So.
That's it. That's funny because you know what?
And look, I'm just confirming, Rob. I'm just confirming in the chat. Matt Wozni, regional player and bowling commentator himself, said nailed it, Mike. Thank you, appreciate it.
It's funny because not to get too much on this, but the PBA would never put a shot out like that.
I thought to Rob. Rob, you're reading my mind. We're vibing tonight. I had a text conversation with Greg Tack.
Yeah.
I said to him, Greg, you know what amazes me most when I come to some of your tournaments is that you can create these awesome, challenging, like mind-blowing patterns. And I watch PBA events and it's the same shit every week.
Because they don't want to. They don't want to do that.
Okay.
That they could do it if they wanted to. If they really, you don't think if TAC could do it, the PBA could do it. The PBA don't want to do it because they know that the PBA, the players will probably be bitching up a storm and they don't want to deal with that. They rather just have people. Oh,
your boy keeps asking in the chat. Kyle keeps asking in the chat who would win a match between me and you right now, Rob or Mike. Rob would probably win the majority of them. I think there's a couple patterns or a couple situations where I could picture myself being tough to beat. The only problem for Rob is he's rusty. He's rusty. I'm very rusty. So like his confidence level is up here, but his recent experience level is down here. Whereas mine's opposite. My confidence level is down here, but my recent experience level is up here. So,
but it'd take me a month to get back into shape, Mike. Yeah,
that. But he's saying right now, if we picked up bowling balls and went to the bowling alley and bowled on, let's say, a long pattern, I don't know, bro. I don't know.
Mike, I still have balls right next to me. I sit here all day just making sure that the ball fits me.
Oh, it's beautiful.
So let's talk. There's some PBA action. This Player of the Year announcements.
No surprise there, Rob.
No surprise here because this isn't a lot to talk about, right? Because Kyle Troup won, right? It was a pretty much guarantee. Matt Russo was Rookie of the Year. Now, I guess the only discussion really I think that we need to talk about is, in your opinion, does Kyle Troup repeat Player of the Year? Because I know you have a high opinion. We talked about when we did the like stock buying or selling segment a couple weeks ago. You shot me. You told me that Kyle. I sold Kyle, and you bought Kyle. So, in your opinion, does he repeat?
Can I answer that question this way? Let's hypothetically say I had $1,000 to bet. All right. Let's say hypothetically say I had $1,000 to bet on future bets for PBA Player of the Year. Okay. I'm probably going with 500 on Kyle and 500 on Belmo.
Okay, what about Simo? I'm not going to throw anything on Simonson.
Ooh, that's a good point. That's a good. All right. Maybe we're sprinkling. Maybe we're going like 400, 350, 350, 250. How's that?
Okay, depends what the odds or how I would bet. You know how I like to bet.
Yeah,
I like to bet on the like 10-1, 12-1 guys. And I wouldn't bet on the 2-1 and 3-1 guys for Player of the Year. And I feel like Kyle and Belmo would probably both be 2-1 and 3-1, and Simon would probably be about 4-1 for Player of the Year. That would be my odds. I wouldn't want any of them if I'm taking odds. I would want the guys that are like sniffing it or have been, maybe here and there.
Dave, great point. Vi's in the hunt. Great point. But here, his odds are going to be a lot higher because he hasn't won a lot, right? Yeah. So his Vi's odds would be a lot higher. I think Vi would be a guy Rob would like to bet on because the odds would probably look really good there. But I got to say, Dave,
like 8-1. 8-1 for Vi.
Yeah, that would be a shocking story if he came out at the end of the year and he's the number one player in the world. With the type of cast we have here.
Dude, we all know the last couple of years has been kind of an oddity for Belmo. Read his article with Wriggles kind of talks about it. I think COVID really had a really big effect on Belmo and why his success kind of diminished. But Belmo is also all over the place when it comes to everything outside of bowling. So, we talked a lot about that last week when we talked about Wriggles' interview. So Sam Cooley's one, look, these are guys that I would bet. Sam Cooley, Vi, guys that probably are going to give me 10 to 12 to 1. You know what I mean? So, but there needs to be odds, and Fox Bet needs to come out with some big long play odds like that. Rookie of the Year, Player of the Year. I don't know what other awards they can give, but they need to come out with something like that.
Rob, here's an interesting comment from Sean Coos in the chat that relates to something we talk a lot about. He says, I talked to the WinBet trader manager, and he said the reason they don't have betting on bowling is because you need a good odds maker that is proven to get it on the odds board. Okay, fair enough. I mean, I believe that.
No, have him reach out to us, man. We'll collaborate and give him some odds. Yo, Mike, me and you.
Jimmy says he's only betting on Belmo's NFTs. Jimmy, listen, I don't even know what the hell an NFT is. I listened to a Joe Rogan podcast with some dude named Beeple the other night, and he was explaining it, and I still didn't really understand what it was, so I don't know. Good luck to Belmo, though. And, Rob, shout to Kyle Troup. Shout to Matt Russo. Both those guys deserve the awards. To me, there was really no doubt on either end. So, shout to those guys. I can't wait for this season to come up and see where these storylines take us.
Yeah. So, Mike, let me ask you, Mike. I got a question for you. Are you a super fan? Are you a Bolero super fan? A PBA super fan? Will you publicly acknowledge the PBA and market them on your social media for free? Because guess what, Mike? That's what the PBA is asking fans to do. And this, Mike, does this come from the Dream Team?
They're looking for professional fans, professional sports fans.
To what? To market the PBA or advertise
to help
the
them
PBA?
Market the PBA and keep other fans up on what's going on with the PBA.
So what do you think of this Dream Team collaboration from Bolero and the PBA to recruit fans to advertise and market their product. I mean, all seriousness, right? We always have a fun time shitting on Bolero in a little bit of a way, but like,
I mean, in our opening, you throw a spear through a guy that's labeled as Bolero. So I would say so, yeah.
It's all in fun, right? But like, what is your thoughts behind them trying to recruit fans to market for them? Is that a good idea or a bad idea?
Are they a $1 billion company?
They have about $230 of my money right now. So on the stock market.
Didn't we just read last week or 2 weeks ago that their evaluation was like 2-point-something billion?
Dude, okay. I gotta read my brother's comment. The same idiots in the USBC discussion forum will be the ones doing this duty. And I gotta say duty.
Maybe they'll hire Tim Buck.
Dude,
Tim Buck would be great.
Could you imagine? Dude,
right?
I would
lock
buy
it down.
From, you wouldn't be able to comment anything bad on the PBA on his thread.
Okay.
But it's so anyway, they are $2 billion. Okay, they're a $2 billion company. So where are you going with this?
Well, hold on now. Jimmy's here. Jimmy is he's a bowling media guy. Creates a lot of content. Jimmy the Ring 10 saying, I think they do pay, not a bunch. It's what Bryce did for the summer tour. Jimmy, I don't know, man. The advertisement that I saw looked like it was more fans that would be doing more social media stuff than, I mean, what Bryce was doing was like on site. I mean, that was more related to flow bowling than it was to the PBA from my perspective anyway. Nonetheless, even if they are paying, right, if it's not a lot, my take on this, Rob, is that if Bolero is a $1 billion company and they own the PBA Tour, which is a professional sports organization.
They do.
And Coley Edison is the CEO of that professional sports organization. I would expect the ownership of that professional sports organization and the CEO of that professional sports organization to be putting serious resources behind the promotion of that professional sports organization. And to me, this effort is the opposite of that. It's not serious promotion. It's not an effort to really, hire somebody or hire a team of people that really know how to properly get this done. When I saw this, it came off to me as cheap. It came off to me as we want the fans to do this for free instead of paying somebody who really knows how to get it done the right way. Okay. The other thing that I see here, Rob, and I have to talk about this from our perspective. Like, we're here. We're right here. I said this on Twitter in a joking way. I retweeted their tweet and said, well, there is a podcast. It's called Nevermind. I mean, we're here. We've been here for 3 years. We're more than happy to promote the PBA, promote the tournaments, promote the product, promote the players, etc. Now, does that mean we're always going to see eye to eye with what the CEO or the commissioner or the ownership of the league does? No. But show me another professional sport where the fans and the content creators in many instances, okay, have a great relationship with the people who are running that league. I'll use Roger Goodell as an example. He has made a habit of making a joke out of getting booed at the NFL draft. Okay? So I don't know. I mean, if that's what they're looking for, why are they not already reaching out to the people that are here and have been doing it for a while? Is it because we sometimes have negative things to say about things they've done or whatever? Is it because we have a spear going through a guy with their name on it in our opening, in our intro?
But that's gold, dude. That's gold. It's all it's all in fun and games, like, to us when it comes to some of the stuff we do, right, against Bolero. But other things, we're pretty realistic as fans when it comes to the PBA on what they're doing good and what they're doing, like, what they could do better, right? We're not always shitting on them. We're realistic fans and with realistic expectations. And I feel like, you know what? Like, I think of it the same way because there's a ton of social media marketers out there that are full-time professional people that do this for a living. I could hire a social media marketer for our podcast, Mike, that could go and all day for 9 hours a day, spend time on social media, talking to people, getting people to follow the podcast, doing different things. I feel like, is it really that much to ask a $2.5 billion company to hire one or two social media marketing like professionals to pay them, 70 to 80,000 a year to get them to all day just promote and advertise and do the marketing for the PBA? Like, maybe they already have that. I don't know. It doesn't look that way because we follow them on social media and I don't see a whole lot of activity going on their sites a lot. So Mike, as somebody who was kind of in that field, like back in the day when I was going through my master's and all that, like there are a lot of different ways you can like grow your sites and grow your like social media. But the valuable aspect of it is you need someone who has the time to do it. Like, it's time, right? If I was doing 9 hours a day of promoting Sweep the Rack all day and that was my job, I mean, it would be like we would be a lot bigger and we'd have a lot more following. But unfortunately, me or you don't have the 8 or 9 hours a day. The PBA does have the marketing or the assets to hire people full time to do that. And I 100% agree with it. Mike, you're going to get people that are just like, oh my God, like I can get paid, a couple $100 maybe from the PBA to like just share like the Facebook feeds. I don't really know what they're even asking the fans to do here.
Yeah, no, I'm done. I'm done on the topic. Right. I'm good on that one.
So,
all right,
Mike, there was an interview. Jeff Riggles is bringing the heat in the interview. Huh?
Sweeps Riggles is killing us. He's killing us, Rob. First he gets Belmo, now he gets Tom Clark.
Well, we had Tom Clark and Belmo too, so I don't think like he's like cutting our legs.
He's still scoops. He's still scoops. So,
dude, he's a media guy, so he asks different questions to Tom Clark than we would ask Tom Clark, right? Like he's a different kind. He's a journalist, right?
I think he asked many of the same questions. I think he asked them in a much more journalistic way.
Right.
I think you and I would just come out and say it. Whereas Jeff kind of has a way of wording it where
he's
softens
a pro.
the blow of the question for sure.
Yeah,
so he runs the 11thframe.com blog. Buy the blog. So, check it out. All right. He posted an article earlier this week with Tom Clark. It was a great interview. Again, Scoops Riggles. I wish we could have gotten Tom. I wish that we could have asked him some of these questions ourselves. I picked out a few points from the article, okay, that I wanted to just share on the podcast here and talk about a little bit, get your reaction to, Rob. Vaccination requirements, right? Jeff asked a question about vaccination requirements. Here was Tom Clark's answer. Not at this point. We haven't gotten to the point where we're going to require anything. Again, unless there's a local protocol that says non-vaccinated cannot enter certain places or things like that. That's the only time that could happen. Right now, we don't have any PBA-wide requirements. I recently traveled internationally, and vaccine cards and/or recent PCR tests were required. So our international players may face requirements for travel. What are your thoughts?
I'm all for it.
Okay.
Let me tell you, like, I don't want to get too political in this like topic. I don't. But look, like, I'm not about people forcing anything to put anything in anybody's bio that they don't want to.
Yeah, I don't even want to go down that road. Here's what I want to talk about. What about the possibility that with the PBA not really requiring anything, but with traveling to places that may have different requirements? When I read that, I thought, well, you could have the possibility that a PBA player is trying to travel the PBA tour, but there's this event or two events in these particular places where because they're not vaccinated, they can't compete. Right? I mean, that's a possibility.
It is. You shit out of luck then. That's what it's going to have to be, right?
Okay. All right. There was a question that Jeff asked about lane patterns. All right. And the PBA is going to have asymmetrical lane patterns next year, Rob.
Okay. Did they get into any detail of what that exactly means?
Yeah.
Untechnical, dumb people
left to right. The left is going to be different than the right.
Oh my god.
Okay, let's read.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, I'll give it a chance. I'm not going to shit on it yet.
He says, and I'm quoting from the article, almost all of the patterns will have some sort of asymmetry built into them. That was important to us as we continue to constantly battle the left-right issue. Of course, there'll be a caveat to that. If we ever run formats where it makes no sense to have asymmetrical patterns, then we will adjust those patterns. We have different versions ready to go just in case there's different formats or topography in play. For example, in the playoffs, where it is all head-to-head elimination match play, there is no qualifying, so it's almost all on fresh. And unless the bowling center topography tells us that the asym pattern would make more sense, then we wouldn't make them asymmetrical. But in most of our formats, when there's a lot of games, we felt like asymmetrical is the way to go. We're going to do an advancer eliminator format for the 4 Tier 2 events next year and at the PBA World Championship and World Series, which will be based more on cumulative scoring with no match play or bonus pins.
Look, my brother Jeff is a smart person, and he says asymmetrical patterns are sorely needed.
Stuyvesant High School, shout to Sty.
Columbia University Civil Engineering, as smart as it comes with bowling equipment, I think, and I will take his word that if he says asymmetrical patterns are sorely needed, I will trust his word. I don't know anything about symmetrical and asymmetrical. I first started learning about the difference between the bowling balls, like compared to like now lane patterns. But look, like I feel like any change right now when it comes to like the lane patterns, if that's going to prevent the two-handers and the people from having to stand left and loft it over the gutter at game 3, I think that, will help, honestly. So I'm not going to change is good in certain aspects. And I'm not going to like be one of those people that as soon as something announces that they're changing something and I'm going to completely say, oh, that's terrible, because I have to see how it plays out before I like make an educated like opinion on it.
Yeah, me either. I didn't bring it up for that purpose. Here's what I thought when I first read it. It sounds like opening a Pandora's box of possible more debate, discussion, controversy, etc. I don't know. I mean, it's just how it seemed to me. Okay.
So, nutshell, simple version. Most houses play different on the left and right. Okay, we know that. Patterns should be set up differently on the left and right to take that into account. It's simple. That's a high level, dumb it down for Rob statement, and I love it. Yeah, it's right, man. I agree with that because, look, the left right is always going to be different. So maybe this will help things even it out a little bit. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see, Mike. But hey, look, I don't really know a whole lot about technical aspects of it to make a educated opinion.
Jeff asked, will the women be a part of the PBA League in 2022? No. There will be no women's. There will be no women's teams in the PBA League in 2022. Good for the women pros that the PWBA is ramped back up to give them a lot of opportunities in 2022. When we added the women's teams to the PBA League in 2020, it was because the PWBA had to cancel its season. So we just wanted to give the women an opportunity to be on TV and to compete. So,
all right, I'm with that. Okay. I like that. The PWBA just released their schedule, right? Like, it looks good.
And I said, guys, this was a great interview. You should the blog is very cheap. You should check it out. Here was the best answer. Here was the best exchange in this whole interview. Okay, you ready for this? Here's the question. Obviously, flow bowling is a big topic. They were certainly harmed dramatically by the pandemic. What are their prospects going forward for the PBA? Here's Tom Clark's answer. Well, they're on for 2022. I think that's as far as the contract goes right now. Flow will have it, and they'll have every opportunity to do every national, regional, and PBA 50 event that we have. They'll simulcast our Fox Sports and CBS TV shows to international audiences. Flow will webcast all of the Tier 2 events, the ones in Colorado, Lubbock, Jackson, and Kokomo, from start to finish. I expect Flow to do a great job this year, and then where things go from there, we'll see.
I think we.
What's that sound like, Rob?
We called that.
That
months
doesn't
ago.
sound like a strong endorsement. I gotta say.
No, we called that a while ago, didn't we? Though that when we could, I wish we can go back and I was able to easily pull his like shows that we made some statements that we like that came true, right? And I think it kind of maybe feels like the beginning of the end for Flo when it comes to like dealing with bowling, but
It's bad.
that's how I
feel
take
like
it.
that's bad.
Yeah, well, it's not a secret that they're bleeding money with the bowling coverage.
Yeah, he
right?
talked a little. The answer was much longer than what I included, and he talked a little bit about that, about how in other sports that Flo does, Flo has the broadcasting rights, but leaves the production to the actual sport, right, to the actual organization. Whereas with the PBA, not only did they want to do the production, the rights for the broadcasting, they wanted to do the production as well, and that kind of seems to be where the problems developed.
Yeah, but who says that? Doyle, good. By the way, great to see you, man. The champ. Next for Flo Bowling is a letter saying that we wish you the best. Well, who says that it's going to be PBA that's going to be ending it? To me, that might be Flo Sports coming in and saying we don't want to do this anymore. Like, it's just way too much money for us, and we're not making. I feel like it might be the other way around, personally.
Yeah, Nico, I guess, is responding in the chat to me saying I think that's bad. So he says, you really think this past season having someone sit and look at the screen for 10 hours at their house was good? No, I don't. I definitely think the quality of the product went down this year. My hope, Nico, was that coming back this year that there would be some change, right? So, yeah, we'll see where it goes. All right, Rob.
I don't know. Flo is pretty successful with a lot of their other sports. Honestly, like from what I understand, they do really well with other sports. So we'll see. But I kind of feel like this is Mike. This is like.
All right, Rob. Just quickly, we want to throw out there. News came out this week, and I know you have a little bit more info about it. That the PWBA coming back.
Mike, they're coming back. This was on bowl.com. The 2022 PWBA schedule to feature events with larger prize funds, additional TV coverage for the finals. So essentially, there's going to be overall prize fund of approximately $1.4 million, which will represent the largest average per event since the tour's relaunch in 2015. It's great, women. That's great news for the ladies. The schedule is going to feature the USBC Queens, the Open, and then a Tour Championship to close out the season. It looks like it's going to be a lot of it's going to be on CBS Sports. So there's going to have multiple shows on CBS Sports. The coverage will begin on season opening at Rockford Open in Illinois on May 12th, Mike. So they have it's 5 months, so it's a pretty whiles out, but the first step ladder will be broadcast on May 15th. The CBS Sports Network schedule looks like there's going to be about 3 or 4 tournaments, and it's it was great news for the ladies. They deserve a good tour. It almost looks like they're going from May straight to June, straight August, Mike. So almost like the schedule you wanted to see in your PBA tour schedule. It feels like the women kind of did that, Mike, where they just grouped all of their tournaments within like May, 3 weeks in May. It looks like they have almost, Mike, 5 tournaments or 6 tournaments in June and then 3 tournaments in August. So, Mike, I mean, this is a pretty good, like it's these women are able to, in my opinion, still work full-time jobs, right? Especially if you're like a teacher and you have the summers off, this is a great opportunity to teach full-time and then bowl your dream as a full-time professional in the summer and then be back at school in like August. I mean, fair to say, right? This is a really good schedule for the women. I mean, obviously you'd like to see something go like a year-round schedule, but I'm not gonna complain about it. The schedule they put out and the money they're putting out. Kudos to USBC for really supporting the women the way they do, and I'm excited about it. I just want to see them, maybe this flow bowling thing that maybe might, speculation coming to an end, might maybe give an opportunity for the USBC and the PBA to work together to build one streaming platform for both the women and the men. But that makes too much sense these days.
Doyle Iron saying, wearing that hat, Big Mike looks like Santa, has been pimping since pimping was pimping. You know the game. You know the game, player. Kicking game like a claim over here. You know what's good, player. Get at me. All right, Rob.
Wait,
the people don't know what we're gonna hit them with, Rob.
Oh, this is amazing. So, Mike, we did an interview.
A lot of great content coming from Sweep the Rack.
Yes.
A lot of great content. You don't know what's lined up behind the scenes, but we know what's lined up behind the scenes. And we're telling you, we're about to bless you with some amazing content. And it's going to start. It's going to kick off. It's going to kick off. Hold on. It's going to kick off Christmas Eve. Okay. Sweep the Rack has a Christmas gift for the people. Okay. And tonight, right now, as a matter of fact, we're going to hit you with a little hint, a little preview of the Christmas gift that we have for you guys on Christmas Eve. So on Christmas Eve, when you're off from work and you wake up, you're bored, you really don't have much to do, your shopping's probably done, COVID's running wild out here, stay inside, don't just chill. Break out the computer, fire up YouTube. Rob, let's give them a preview of what they're going to see.
Well, his impact was huge. I mean, the father of the modern game. He was really the first player that made, putting a lot of energy on the ball cool. Although if you take a look at the videos, and there've been a lot of them out there lately, really to showcase what Mark did back in the day. He didn't hook the ball very much because nobody hooked the ball very much. But Mark had the power on the ball that would trip out that half 10 when another player couldn't do it. So he definitely changed the game. I think Gary Mage, who was the tournament director for the Western and Northwest region for many years, he acted as like my agent back in the day, and he brokered the deal with Nike. I think I believe they approached him, and they wanted me both from the standpoint of that I was an Oregon guy, and I was a whack job. I wish that the bowlers had a bigger pie of assets to shoot for, but. The new ownership, Bolero is doing what they feel is best for the tour and for their brand, and I wish them well. I want to see them succeed because bowling was my world for so many years.
Do you think they've done a good job so far?
I think they've switched things up. I'm old school. So, I'd like to see more tournaments like we had back in the day, but I'm not making decisions. I'm just hoping that what they do is for the best. So, as far as my opinions of what they're doing, I agree with some of what they've done, and I disagree with others. But
legends,
Mike.
Legends are in the building.
What an honor for me and for you to do that interview. And we talk about a little bit after the interview, but Mike, when I was talking with Marshall, literally I text Mike and was like, Mike, Marshall Holman is chatting with me over Facebook right now. Like, isn't this like the coolest thing ever? Because we grew up with this guy, not with this guy bowling, watching this guy bowling every Saturday afternoon. So this interview is going to be released Friday, Christmas Eve at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So it'll be released on YouTube as well as our audio format to listen to Spotify, iTunes, Amazon Music, whatever else audio you want to listen to. So if you have family over and your kids are driving you crazy and your mother-in-law, your father-in-law is driving you crazy, put the headphones in, go take a walk, and you could listen to our interview with PBA legend, PBA Hall of Famer, the one and only Marshall Holman. And what a pleasure and what a great interview it was. And Mike, we have a lot of good interviews lined up for the people. And it's going to really feel, it's our new interview series, Mike. Oh, and by the way, I do have a separate new intro. That's not as cool as our other intro that we do every week here, but it is cool. And I put together a new little intro. So the show has a different feeling for our interview series. So
I'm also going to say this. Now, that's the first time I saw the preview clips that Rob put together. Rob didn't put this in there because he probably didn't want my head to literally grow out of the space of this screen as it broadcasts. But I'm going to bless y'all with another little tidbit from this interview. The legend, Marshall Holman, tells Big Mike that he's right about something that I talk about on this show all the time.
Yeah, it was literally right out of the gate, too.
So I bless you with that.
Laughing.
Okay, I bless you with that.
Hey, Phil, I've reached out to Brian Voss a few times to try to get him on. If you know Brian Voss and you can reach out to him and get us on the show, I'll send you a round.
Top of our list, Phil.
Dude, Phil,
actually, Tom Doherty's at the top of my list. Brian Voss is close, though. Brian, Leon in the chat says, I thought for a second y'all were going to announce that you got to go Tim Buck. This is why I love our the people that watch our show, because we bring out the legend Marshall Holman and they're like, nah, we thought you were going to hit us with Tim Buck. Got you, Leon.
Mike, I'm putting out this bounty. Anybody who could broker the deal of getting us Brian Voss, Tom Doherty, or Tim Buck, I will send a free rosin bag to you. I will pay the shipping myself. I will send it, and you will have a Sweep the Rack rosin bag, which, by the way, you are guaranteed a honor score with a Sweep the Rack rosin bag, especially if you ball house league.
Doyle Iron says, I want an interview with the Halliday brothers or the Carps. Oh, my goodness.
Dude, I haven't heard the name Brian and Kevin Carp in so long. Dude, I love those guys. Dude, the Carps were my guys, man. They were great dudes, man. I don't know what they're doing. Oh, Peacow, you get me Rudy. I'll send you 2 rosin bags, one for you and the wife. Okay, like you guys would be matching rosin bags, like you have like matching stockings above your fireplace for Christmas.
Yeah, a lot of these people. I mean, guys, come on. You don't think we've reached out to some of these folks? Like, what do you think?
I've been hitting them up.
We're oblivious over here? Come on,
dude. Rudy will respond to my Facebook. He'll respond to my Facebook status, but when I reach out for an interview, he won't respond to me because, dude, he knows his stories. That guy's got stories on stories on stories, my man. That would be an 1.5 to 2 hour interview.
Tony, if it's easy, make it happen. Make it happen. You've been trying.
I'll send you a rosin bag, Tony. Free. Sweep the Rack rosin bag. I'll send you a worst of the week one.
All right, Mike, Rob. It's time for what everybody loves. All right, Rob.
Yes, sir. You want to go first? Or you want me to go first?
Go ahead.
So this post was made on the gift that keeps on giving, Mike, the USBC Bowlers discussion forum. Tim Buck, you think you're keeping us away from the message boards, but let me tell you, brother. Let me tell you, we're still there. We're kicking live, and you don't know what we're doing, but we're there, and I got eyes everywhere. So Tim Buck, if you're listening or watching to this, I'm still coming for you, my man. This goes out to Rick Hayes. Congrats, Rick.
Congrats, Rick.
Can someone tell me the new rules on a clean game? If a spare is made in a 10th, then an 8 count, is that still clean? I mean, is an 8. If you throw an 8 count in the film, Mike, does that mean you ruined your clean game?
No, I think the clean game ends when you spare in the first frame in the 10th, no?
Yeah, but if you threw an 8 in the field, does that ruin your clean game? That's what he's asking.
Not to me.
No, I'm just saying. That's what he was asking, Mike. If
I
you
know.
threw an
I
8 in the
understand.
field, that's what. Oh,
I mean,
Lord.
some people might think it. I don't know. Some people might think it does.
Maybe Gary. Maybe you're Tim. Maybe Gary West is Tim Buck. Maybe you're one of the burners, my man. I know Tim is watching. Don't worry. I know he's got nothing else to do than monitor the USBC message boards all day and all night. So he's got this on one screen. He's got the USBC message boards on another screen, and he's probably got a whole lot of other like message boards that he's monitoring, or he's the like admin. And I started to read a post about the new USBC message boards. Now someone started a new one.
It's where my worst of the week is from this week. We're on there.
They were asking about, well, should we let podcasts advertise or share their content on our web pages or site? And I'm like, we're not selling things. Yes, I'm selling a rosin bag. Trust me, though, this rosin bag isn't going to cover nearly any of the costs that it cost me to develop the website, to put this platform right on the show, on our platform, right? This show, I'm not here to make money, except if you buy the rosin bag. But look, I kid. But all I'm saying is we're here to try to promote the sport and grow it and have honest and real chat on a lot of the everyday issues and big issues that have been haunting this sport for so many years. So if I'm unable to try to promote our podcast, then I'm going to do it. And I shouldn't be banned from doing that on threads that want to promote the sport. So that's my thoughts.
Well said. Jim Ward asking how I can get a rosin bag. Jim Ward, sweeptherackbowling.com. Sweeptherackbowling.com. Check it out.
$14.98 with shipping, as long as it's in the intercontinental United States.
We have our own website that's better than the PBA's, and it was made by Rob and Rob alone. Check it out. All right, here's my worst of the week. Now, my worst of the week is a worst of the week that is near and dear to my heart, no question. But I still had to make it worst of the week because of the specific nature of this person's point. Okay, so I share from the newly created USBC group for bowlers and industry leaders. We want to welcome this group to Worst of the Week for the first time. I believe this is the first post from this group, from this new group. So welcome. Congratulations to the whole group. Congratulations to the whole group. You guys made it. You made it to Worst of the Week. But that's specific big. Congratulations in this instance. And let it be duly noted that Eugene Bond was the person who got the USBC group for bowlers and industry leaders to this lofty position of being featured on Worst of the Week.
He's like Neil Armstrong.
It is, Rob. It is. It really is. Like Jackie Robinson, almost. Okay. Eugene Bond. All right. Eugene Bond. Congratulations.
Eugene Bond.
Here's his post. One big problem in our sport is corporate clowns running bowling. I bowl in a center owned by a real bowling family. Clean house, scoreable conditions, and helpful, friendly staff.
Scoreable conditions. I know that's what got you. Dude.
See? I knew you would know. I knew you would know. I knew you would. I was like, when I make this worst of the week, he's going to pick right up on it. Okay?
Scoreable conditions. You can't say that and you not get angry.
What? Is this a guarantee? Now, this is something that we need on the checklist of a quality bowling center. Is check scoreable conditions have to be? Eugene. No. I'm sorry. No, it's not on the checklist. Not on my checklist. Not on my checklist.
I'll agree with the clean house, the clean bathrooms, affordable food, good drinks, friendly staff, friendly front desk. But when it comes to the conditions, as long as they're actually running a condition fresh, and it doesn't have to be scoreable for it to be a good bowling center. Bottom line.
That's all I got.
Great. That was a great one. I like that.
Super overtime tonight, Rob. I'm glad I got a half day tomorrow.
I know, lucky.
Oh, man. Winter break is here, my guy. And I'm ready to enjoy it. I'm ready to enjoy it.
So final thoughts. I mean, this is an easy one, right? Tonight. I just want to wish everybody a very happy holiday. Christmas, Hanukkah, whatever you celebrate, really. Just want to wish everyone a safe, happy holiday. Enjoy the time with your family and friends. And I'm putting this out there to everybody. Stay off your phones, okay? When you're with your family, okay? Enjoy the gifts of your, giving gifts to your family, going out to eat with your family, with your friends. But enjoy the moment. Stay in the present. Stay off your phones, okay? Because guess what? You're going to look back at maybe this moment 20, 30, 40 years from now, and you're going to miss it because you're sitting there checking your Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram feed. Okay? So just be wary of your phones. I know a lot of us, including myself, have parents that, are getting older in age, right? And I don't want to, spend the time I have with them on my phone. So that's the only final thought I have. It has nothing to do with bowling, but it's just a piece of advice I want to make everybody aware of. The phone addiction is real. I got rid of all my social media on my phone, and I see so much of a difference of me, not spending and wasting all kinds of time on my phone. I'm just trying to enjoy the present. So, Mike, that's my final thought.
Rob, you should read Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury.
Okay. Dave, this is what you're getting this year, bro.
Good gift.
Sweep the Rack
Good gift. Bag. It's like giving somebody an honor score in a box.
It is. Okay, what's Fahrenheit 4? Is that something to do with phone addiction?
Yeah, not specifically, but it's a novel about a future where people have built walls in their relationships that connect to technology, right? So it would be an interesting read for you since you're on that topic lately. My final thoughts, same, man. Have a good holiday, everybody. Enjoy the time and whatnot. Are we doing an episode next week, Rob, or no?
I'm in, but you seem to be the busy one these days. So
yeah, no, I think I should be able to do it next Wednesday. I don't think that should be.
We'll talk off air. I mean, it's not a big deal. I mean, we have the interview coming out on Friday, so it'll give a lot of people to watch. And maybe we'll talk off air, but. I mean, either way, I feel like, sometimes we need to break a little bit too, so everybody doesn't have to tune in and listen to us ramble about bowling.
True. All right. Hit us up on Twitter at the 215. He's at Brooklyn Rob 11. Hit us up on Gmail, sweeptherack@gmail. Check out our website, sweeptherackbowling.com. It's a great website. Rob put it together. It's better than the PBA's website. If you want a rosin bag, hit the website, order a rosin bag. We'll get it to you. Everybody, we appreciate you joining us as always. There was a lot to talk about tonight. We went to super overtime for the people tonight, Rob. Check out the Marshall Holman interview. Christmas Eve. It's dropping. A Christmas gift from us to all of you.
It's a Festivus miracle.
We can't do any better than that. Rob, have a great holiday. Safe travels, my man. We'll catch up next week, and you guys be good. All right?
Yep.
You are now listening to Sweep the Rack podcast featuring Brooklyn Rob and Big Mike.